When I first started teaching yoga, the trend of, teaching people who you are, talking about yourself was mainly either on your bio page, on your website, or in articles. And I didn't always have articles written about myself, but over the course of teaching 3-5 years, there were some from the Equinox video, really. But nowadays, I've recognized that a lot of people, including myself, don't read the bios on anybody's website, nor do we really search for articles on people. We use people's Instagram pages or Facebook pages or YouTube pages to learn about them. I've been so lucky to have you, all of you here, interested in my life, what I do, what I teach, and I rarely talk about myself and where I've come from. So there's going to be a series of Bry's Blabs that are just about me, my yoga journey, my journey as a parent, my journey as a person, and I'm really excited to start that. This is the first one, and I'll talk about how I found yoga. A lot of us yogis, you might be hearing in the background lots of like, because my dogs are here. Veda, come here. We're actually filming at my home for this series, and I have one of my dogs. She's very needy, but I love her very, very much. You're going to sit on my lap during this? I found yoga, much like most of us, or much how most of us find yoga, is in a place of need. And that could be in a very dark place in your life. That could just be in a lull in your life where you feel like you need more and you're searching for more. For me, I was 15 years old. I had been a pop star in Asia since the age of 12. And if you've read my bio before, you know that I spent and still do spend a lot of time up here questioning myself. And when I was very young, for about 10 years, I suffered from bulimia and anorexia. And, it probably came, most likely, actually 100% of the reason came from being in the music and entertainment industry. And just comparing myself to others, not feeling like I was skinny enough or talented enough. And that started about the age of 11. When I was 15, I was hosting a travel show, of all things, in Thai. And one of the destinations was India. And Nepal as well. And myself, as well as the film crew, spent about 2 weeks traveling around. And I got to film myself doing yoga for the first time. We were in Mysore, and it was a Ashtanga style class. It's not really a class, it's just led. And although I was being filmed, the brain when you're being filmed is not really the brain that you have when you're experiencing something for yourself. Although I was being filmed for that 2-hour yoga experience, something shifted. Really, actually, extremely shifted for me during that first experience. I had never done something so challenging. Every time I meet somebody who says, yoga is for girls, yoga is for stretching, I always laugh because that first yoga experience kicked my tush. And through that kicking of my tush, my mind settled just a little bit, just beneath the surface of chaos. And in that first Shavasana, I was crying. A lot of us do, because when you have that monkey mind, it's there to keep you going so that you don't feel beneath the surface. I didn't realize it back then what it was, but I cried, I released, and I felt so free. And it was momentary, of course, because I went straight back into being me, as we do, but it stuck. And I spent a little more time in India after that, went back to Thailand, and the only thing available at that time, this was 1998, in Thailand, was Bikram yoga, which is how I started. And I started doing Bikram. It was an extreme practice. It was very hot, and I was living in a very hot place. But each practice felt more and more connected to that me beneath the surface of the chaos in my mind. Veda, come here. Much like Veda right now, right? Our mind is like super used to just doing what it's used to doing. And when you experience something outside of that, even if it's momentary, you want more. And that was me. Although initially a lot of my yoga practice was physical and approaching new postures, whether they be balancing on my hands or balancing on one foot, was what kept me really, really connected to the practice itself. That was beautiful. And if that's where you are now, know that that's a wonderful place to be, because moving your body in a way that you're not used to will help your mind connect to your body in a different way. And that's all we're really looking and searching for through our yoga practice, is to get outside of the norm, get outside of the cyclical patterns of our minds. And yoga asana does that, right? So that's how I found yoga. And for many, many years after that, yoga asana, the physical yoga practice, was the only thing that I practiced. I didn't do pranayama. I didn't do meditation. And it worked just fine for me until one day. And in the next Bry's Blabs, I'll let you know what that's all about.